Cub Swanson versus Brian Ortega. What a fantastic fight this is. Man, there's been so many good fights lately. I think this has flown completely under the radar, but now that it's here, you got to pay attention, man. This is a fantastic fight with real meaning in the featherweight division. Cub Swanson, the savvy veteran, great striking, not so bad on the ground either. Meanwhile, Brian Ortega has shown a penchant in his short UFC career for getting in there, throwing down, getting fight of the night type performances, and if it goes to the ground, you are in trouble, my friend. So how do you pick this one? It's damn near a coin flip for me. I tell you what, man, it does seem like Ortega is a guy on the rise, but Swanson the guy that's been there and done that. And for me, I'm going to lean just slightly towards that veteran savvy. I think maybe he can work things, keep things busy throughout the opening rounds, and maybe tire Ortega late, get some late TKO finish, perhaps a 5-round decision. But this is going to be a close fight, and I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun.
This is a classic kind of gatekeeper-like matchup. We're wondering if Cub Swanson still has it, and the rising star Brian Ortega, will he kind of take the helm? I think, to use a term from Game of Thrones, that I think Cub Swanson will hold the door. I think the veteran still has it. I think he gets it done here.
Ortega really has convinced me that he is a talent to keep an eye on, as he comes with these late finishes despite adversity and seems to be able to overcome almost anything. That said, I do think that the octagon experience that Cub Swanson has, and his so-called beautiful chaos, his ability to keep himself composed and controlled in the craziest of situations, will lead him to an eventual victory, most likely where he will start showing his dominance in the 2 last rounds. So I see Cub Swanson taking this via a close but very exciting decision.
I feel like wherever the fight ends up going, Swanson's going to be okay in this matchup. I feel like his pace is going to really dictate the fight. He's going to force Brian Ortega to fight his fight. The one intangible for me is, if you look at Swanson's last 2 submission losses, they happened later in the fight. Brian Ortega has been known to submit guys later in the fight, so you can never count him out in this fight. However, I still hold true Cub Swanson.
Real coin flip fight this. I think if it stays on the feet, you've got to give the edge to Cub Swanson. He's got really slick, excellent boxing, honed over years working with his old high school buddy Timothy Bradley, who has done a few good things in the world of boxing over the years, that's for sure. He's going to be looking to keep the fight on the feet for sure. Then you've got Ortega, who is an absolute wizard on the mat. If he can get Swanson to the floor during that 5 rounds, I think he's got the skills in his toolbox to win the fight by submission. So it's whether you believe Swanson will keep it standing or whether Ortega will get the fight to the mat. I think it really is as simple as that. I'm going to go for Ortega. I think he's still growing in his career. He seems to get better every time we see him in the octagon. I'm going to go with Brian Ortega to get this one done and move himself right up there into featherweight contention.
I think Swanson's been in a lot of battles. I think that experience counts for something. Now, I was in Anaheim and I saw Ortega get better with the striking. We know he's got world-class Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I still think it won't be enough to take out Cub Swanson. I think he's going to club him, actually. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think they're going to club each other, but I think I got Swanson finishing this fight somewhere in round 4.
You know, I look at this fight and I see both guys, obviously very, very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, both on winning streaks. We look at Cub, 4 on the bounce, but 4 decisions. Brian Ortega, I think 4 different finishes in his last 4 fights. I just think if he gets the fight to the ground as well, both black belts, as I said, but you know, the power, the physical prowess, he's a big 145er. So for me, I'm going to look at Brian Ortega finish in the latter rounds, probably by submission if he is going to get the finish in Fresno on Saturday night.